Looking for these better days.
It is Friday, January 23rd. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. The Ravens have a new head coach. We are counting down the hours to Championship Sunday, and the UFC returns tomorrow night. Mackenzie Rivers is with me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel, and just want to give everybody a programming alert. So while this is a Friday morning episode, this isn't our Football Friday episode. No, Mackenzie Rivers. That's because we are going to do another Football Friday episode later on today. We will release a full AFC and NFC championship game props conversation. That's right. We'll have a special guest joining us as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about the games now in this episode, but we will break it down fully in our special Football Friday championship preview episode coming up later on today, right here on this very same podcast feed. What do you think about that, Mac?
It sounds awesome. It sounds like you're going to have bets loaded for Sunday's championship weekend.
I can tell you right now, I have one best bet already fired in the AFC championship game, and I have two already in for the NFC championship game. I mean, prop bets.
Okay. Are you decided on? I mean, we know you like the Broncos plus 5.5.
Yeah, I'm already on the Broncos. Yes. Yeah. We already know that. That's easy. Would you like some trends? How about some trends for the championship games? Do you want to get into that real quick?
Jared Stidham 0 for 0 on the season. Pretty amazing stuff. Infinity percentage or 0% completion percentage? I have to talk to some math people about that. But yeah, give me some trends.
So we have two conflicting trends here for the AFC championship game. We have the Broncos as home dogs in the playoffs of north of 4 points. Now that is significant. Right now up on FanDuel, the Denver Broncos are 4.5-point dogs against the New England Patriots.
Right.
Okay. Should that line close that way, and they are 4+ point dogs, according to Evan Abrams of the Action Network, over the last 50 years in the playoffs, home dogs of 4 or more points, 9-0 against the spread.
In any round or championship
round? In any round.
I mean, the Panthers this year covered easy. We know the beast mode Seahawks covered easy. Yep. Tim Tebow at home versus the Steelers. Yeah, I guess it checks out. 9-0. Wow.
9-0. Now, there's another not conflicting trend, but the same trend is there was another source that I saw Ben Fox tweet this out according to Sports Odds History, right? And they say that home dogs of at least 4 points in the playoffs are 10-0 ATS with 6 outright wins in the last 50 years. So
there was 1 3.5 that got graded one way.
Exactly. I was just about to explain that because we talk about trends all the time here on this pod, and you and I talk about trends all the time. And sometimes, like, one database will have the game at 3.5, the other database will have the game at 4. So one database says 9-0 ATS, the other one says 10-0 ATS. So either way you slice it, guess what? It's never lost. Now you know what else has never lost though?
Drake May as a 3+ favorite.
Yes. Drake May, undefeated, 12-0 straight up as a favorite of 3 or more points in his career, 10-2 against the spread.
10-2 is pretty good. I did not know that. So it sounds like we're going to get Patriots win by 3. It sounds like all the trends are going to be satisfied. Patriots win the game, advance, but the Broncos cover.
So the Drake May ATS goes to 10-3, but he stays undefeated. He goes to 13-0 straight up, and then the home dogs go to and then the home dogs go to 10-0 or 11-0 ATS. So both numbers stay undefeated, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Someone was talking about doing all 4 teasers for the games. I could see it coming in. I mean, Rams barely win, Patriots barely win. I could see all 4 teasers coming in this weekend.
Yeah, but what would be the?
Oh, none of it would be efficient.
No.
Betting.
I know. So what you're saying is you're going to cross 0 on Patriots and Broncos. So then, what would your like what would those numbers be then? So you're telling me you want to tease the Patriots to +1.5 and the Seahawks? Like, okay, I can understand if you do the Seahawks to +3.5. Like
Yeah.
I've heard of people do that. Like, I know Las Vegas Chris is a guy who like loves doing unconventional teasers, right? Non-traditional teasers.
Yeah.
So I could see him being someone that does like Seahawks from 2.5 to +3.5. But like, what's the point of doing Patriots from -4.5 to +1.5?
There absolutely is no point. If you're betting the
Yeah,
Patriots, bet them money line. And then if the Broncos win by 1, then I will send you a check for the difference. You told me not to tease.
Yeah.
No,
But
Patriots money line's the play if you like that side.
yeah. I mean, I guess people could tease the total, right? I guess you can go Broncos +10.5 and what, under 48.5?
The Rams are such a good teaser leg. We're just getting creative, just thinking imaginatively, because there's not that many games left, even if you have an open teaser. But I do want to get the Rams. I mean, +8.5 obviously would be the one actually strong tease.
So what about this? What if you do Rams +2.5, right? And then you like if you have an open teaser, and then you just leave it for the Super Bowl, and then whatever the Super Bowl line is, like the
Just bet
hypothetical
NFC
lines.
team. Yeah.
Yeah, so the hypothetical lines are right now. Just do the NFC team because the Seahawks hypothetical line is 7.5 over the Broncos. Rams right now 8.5 over the Broncos on the hypothetical. If it's the Seahawks or the Patriots, it would be 3.5 for each of those teams.
Then maybe maybe the AFC team.
I mean, yeah. What if it? Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if your book has open teasers, then I guess you could just worry about it and see what the spread is anyway on the matchups. Just do Rams +2.5 to
Can you do
8.5.
week 1 the next year? Is there like an expiration date on those things?
I don't know. I think you can.
I think
Right? Can you do XFL? Right?
Hey, points are points.
Points are points. Okay, here's some other trends here, and this is for the NFC games. Okay, so the Rams are in a very interesting spot. The Rams, again, this is according to Evan Abrams of the Action Network, the first team in the Super Bowl era to lose ATS in both the wild card and the divisional round, and still be in the conference championship games.
Wait, say that again?
The Rams are the first team in the Super Bowl era to lose ATS in the wild card round and the divisional round, but advance to the conference championship.
I was thinking of the 49ers when they made the Super Bowl. They were 0-3 ATS despite winning every game, but they didn't play the wild card round. So that checks out.
So this is interesting. 0-2 teams ATS in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Go over the last 20 years are 4-9 ATS in that third game.
The Niners losing to the Chiefs being one of them. It kind of makes sense. Like we were saying, like, I heard even someone said, like, yeah, the Rams barely won, but they went on the road and they won. I'm like, yeah, they were supposed to. They were way better than those teams.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. 0-2 ATS, they go 4-9 ATS the third game. So that could be you have a bye in the first round and then you play the 2 games and then you go to the Super Bowl, or it could be, as we mentioned with the Rams, wild card and divisional round and then go to the conference championship. How about this? Do you put any stock into the situation with the Rams on the short week and the Rams coming off overtime?
Well, you know what? I had put thought into the Rams being on their third road game in a row. That in general is 45% ATS over a really big sample size. It happens like 5 or 6 times a year. But I didn't think Rams are not only on the road, but they're on the road off of overtime with less rest. We've talked about that several times this year. That is not a good spot to be in.
Let's look up that entire subset. Let's look that up here, actually.
Yeah.
You want to look that up while I give out this stuff here?
Yeah.
So a team off of an overtime win in the playoffs, and then you play the next game. So you win in overtime in the playoffs, and then the next round, 0-5 straight up, 1-4 ATS since 2015. So that would be negative for the Rams. So you win a playoff game in overtime, and then the next week in the playoffs, you are 0-5 straight up, 1-4 ATS since 2015.
it makes sense. There's no trying more of a trying gauntlet than playing in an overtime game in the playoffs. And by the way, it goes right alongside just the general trend. If your last game was overtime and you're on a short week, less than 6 days of rest, 40% ATS over 120 game sample size.
Yeah, so those are some trends for the championship games coming up here this weekend. As I mentioned, we will do a full props pod breakdown coming up a little bit later on today. We're going to have a separate Football Friday episode with a special
I
guest.
kind of like the Seahawks now.
Okay.
A lot of trends stacking up.
A lot of trends are stacking up. Although, what if I told you, Mackenzie, that Matthew
Sam
Stafford
Darnold sucks.
what if I told you that Matthew Stafford, as quarterback of the Rams, is 6-1 straight up against Seattle all time, with the only loss being the Week 16 game in which Seattle went for 2 in overtime and won the game.
And the Rams were up 19, and there was a punt return, and the Rams definitely should have won that game.
Yeah. How about that? All right, a special props episode, full breakdown for the AFC and NFC championship games coming up a little bit later on today. You don't want to miss that. We have other news around the NFL. The Ravens are hiring Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator, as their new head coach. So they decided, Mackenzie, to go defensive-minded there in Baltimore.
Yeah, they're looking at what Mike McDonald, their former DC, is doing in Seattle, and we want some of that. I feel like the league has turned almost 180 degrees, where the hotshot defensive coordinators are the more discussed, people right now. Where the Mike McDaniels, the offensive guys, have been burned up a little bit. It makes it really interesting who they hire at OC, because Jesse Minter has no particular offensive approach. I hear Lamar Jackson is lobbying for Cliff Kingsbury to take that role, seeing what he's done with Jeff Daniels. Jalen Daniels. It's going to be very interesting. It's a good hire. It's a solid hire. Minter's led the Chargers to way better than expectations defense the last 2 years.
I'm very curious to see who they hire as OC. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys have hired a new defensive coordinator, Christian Parker, who spent the last 2 seasons as the Eagles' passing game coordinator and secondary coach. He's worked under Vic Fangio. He has worked under Vic Fangio when Vic was with the Denver Broncos. So he learned from the best. And you look at that Eagles secondary, whether it's Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean, some other players, right? There's a lot to like about Christian Parker. His name was a rising stock, and now the Cowboys get a new DC.
I kind of like Raheem Morris, where he was an offensive coach for like 1 out of his last 10 seasons. But I feel like being a passing game coordinator gives you a big leg up, and just knowing what those offensive meetings are like in the modern NFL. So I like this hire.
Yeah, well, I mean, anything's got to be better than Matt Eberflus.
I mean, it was just historically bad defense from week 1 on.
Yeah. The other story that came out in the NFL yesterday was the MVP finalists, or really the awards finalists, that will be announced with the NFL Honors award show, Mackenzie. And our boy Christian McCaffrey, I say our boy because we do have a ticket on him to be the comeback player of the year.
Yes, sir.
He became the second player ever to be named a finalist for 3 AP NFL awards in the same season. So he is a finalist for the MVP, along with Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, and the eventual winner, Matthew Stafford. He is also a finalist for Offensive Player of the Year, which is very interesting, as well as Drake May is also in that conversation, Offensive Player of the Year, as well as Puka Nacua, Bijan Robinson, and the eventual winner, Jackson Smith-Njigba. And also Christian McCaffrey alongside Trevor Lawrence for Comeback Player of the Year, as well as Stephon Diggs and Aiden Hutchinson and Dak Prescott. Christian McCaffrey will win that award, and we will cash our our futures ticket on that. Other finalists that were announced: Coach of the Year, you got Liam Cohn, Ben Johnson, Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan, and Mike Vrabel. Assistant Coach of the Year, Vic Fangio, Brian Flores, Vance Joseph, Clint Kubiak and Josh McDaniels. Defensive Player of the Year, Will Anderson, Nick Bonito, and the eventual winner, Myles Garrett, as well as Michael Parsons. And then Defensive Rookie of the Year, Abdul Carter of the Giants, Nick Imanwari from the Seahawks, James Pierce of the Falcons, Browns linebacker Carson Schlesinger, who's probably going to win, and Falcons safety Xavier Watts. And then Offensive Rookie of the Year, Jackson Dart, baby, to go along with Emeka Ibuka, Travion Henderson, Tet McMillan, and Tyler Shuck. No surprises, right?
How's your portfolio looking? I think Dart has a chance. I know McCaffrey's going to win Comeback Player of the Year, so that's just a win, locked in right now.
Well, McCaffrey winning Comeback Player of the Year, that wins us. That puts us in a good position. Stafford winning MVP puts us in a profitable position.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Jackson Dart winning Offensive Rookie of the Year puts us in a party position.
Yeah, fun. Okay. Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah. But if the only thing that we get is McCaffrey, we're okay. If we get nothing, then that just sucks.
Not good, Bob.
It just really sucks. If we don't get McCaffrey, but we get Stafford, we're still good. If we don't get Stafford or McCaffrey, but get Dart, like we're good. But I think we're hitting 2 out of 3. It's definitely going to be McCaffrey for Comeback Player of the Year, and then Stafford's going to win the MVP. So
yeah, I think it's going to be Stafford. I think the more voters that have talked about, and
yeah,
we don't really know. The odds are like they closed McMillan as the minus 200 favorite.
Yeah,
we have no idea. No voters have talked to DraftKings about their votes.
Yeah, no idea whatsoever. All right, that'll wrap up the football conversation. As I mentioned, once again, we will have a special Football Friday props episode coming up a little bit later on today. Let's get into some basketball real quick, a little bit of hockey, because coming up in a couple of minutes, we have a special guest joining us on this pod. Our old friend AJ Hoffman will join us to preview UFC 324 coming up tomorrow night. Main event is Paddy Pimblett going up against Justin Gaethje. So we have AJ's UFC best bets coming up here in a couple of minutes. Mackenzie, real quick, let's get into some NBA, where last night the Battle of LA saw the Clippers defeat the Lakers 112-104. Luka Doncic did have 32 points, in the loss. Kawhi Leonard did play last night, and he scored 24 points in 26 minutes.
Yeah, that's the big story for me. Kawhi averaging like 34 points per game the last 10 games. It's kind of been on the two sides of a knee injury, which is just the story of Kawhi Leonard's career. But the close of this line, it was pick 'em most of the day, was Clippers minus 2.5 at home in quotation marks, because it's in LA. It is their own arena. I think generously you can say it's a 1-point home field advantage, maybe 1.5. So the market now thinks the Clippers are better than the Lakers, despite being the Clippers as the 10th seed and the Lakers as I think the 6th seed right now. It goes to show you how little the market cares about your record, how much we care about your scoring margin and your recent scoring margin. The Clippers are just a better team right now. Kawhi Leonard, 24 points in 26 minutes, 19 shots in 26 minutes. He had the Terminator eyes on. He was just going to shoot every single time he got the ball, and no one on the Lakers can stop him.
We talked about this other game yesterday morning about wanting to take the points with the Mavericks against the Warriors, just because Dallas has done so well against winning teams this season. And Dallas wins outright as home dogs, 123-115 last night.
Yeah, Steph Curry, 38 points, didn't matter. I said it yesterday. I think this team is deflated. I think this team is looking over the shoulder. Kuminga plays 25 minutes of garbage time against the Raptors, and he plays 9 minutes. Despite being plus 18, Kerr was like, no. I just don't like to see you out on the court. Trouble in paradise. I think this team, they could replace the Clippers as on the outside looking in eventually for the playoffs.
And fading the Magic in their first game back from Europe, yep, that was easy. 124-97, the Hornets beat the Magic last night, Mac.
The Hornets now 10-2 in their last 12 on the second night of a back-to-back. I've mentioned it before, but they are the textbook example. When you're led by a bunch of 23 and 24-year-olds that are partying every night and having fun, they don't care about tipping off 16 hours after a game ends. They are ready for it, and they were ready for it. The Magic, after a 20-hour flight, not as much.
So the Rockets lose in overtime in Philly last night, 128 to 122. And tonight, the Rockets will be in Detroit to take on the Pistons. Currently up on FanDuel, it is the Pistons who are the favorites, Mackenzie. We have Detroit laying 4 points right now. What do you think about this matchup?
Interesting line. So let's break it down. 2-point home court advantage for the Pistons, I think, is fair. Nothing special. And then an extra 2 points for the Rockets being on the second night of a back-to-back and on the road. So that gets us to 4. Do I think the Pistons are as good as the Rockets? I think it's closer definitely than I did a couple weeks ago. The Pistons are surging. But no, I still think the Rockets are the better team. Yes, they have Kevin Durant, but they're still mostly a youth-oriented team. I don't think the second night of a back-to-back is too harsh on them. Looking at 4.5 in some spots, I think I'm looking at the Rockets here again.
Okay. Suns, 3-point favorites at the Hawks. You got the Celtics, 8.5-point favorites at the Brooklyn Nets. Boy, I mean, can the Nets stop anybody? I mean, the Knicks just beat them by 54. Like, should we be betting the Celtics here?
I wish it was off a loss, but
yeah,
I think the Celtics Nets have no home court advantage, so you might as well think of it as a neutral. Celtics are more than 8 points better than the Nets.
Cavs 11.5-point favorites at home against the Kings. You got the Grizzlies 5.5-point favorites at home against the Pelicans. Nuggets at the Bucks. Milwaukee 6-point favorites. I just don't know if I want to lay 6 points with the Bucks right now, Mac, with what seems to be trouble in paradise there with Giannis.
Yeah, he's talking about how we're not playing hard enough, and he's not playing particularly well. He's gone under his points props in most of the recent games. If you would have told me the Nuggets were a few point favorites here, I wouldn't think it was crazy. I think that line is wrong. I like the Nuggets there.
Giannis just has to get on top of his game. You know, he's just not playing well right now. But Giannis is going to be good. We're going to be good. It's not all on Blake.
That is a damn good Doc Rivers. Yeah, catch your breath. Drink some water. That is a damn good Doc Rivers. You've done a few black impressions where I'm like, all right, it sounds like just a generic black guy to me, but that is a dead-on Doc Rivers.
Yeah, spent enough time. I know that. I know that. Thunder, 16-point favorites at home against the Pacers, and the Raptors, 4-point favorites at the Blazers tonight. Any feel for those final two games?
Blazers, I think, are a look. A shout out to the chat, recommending a good pizza bet for me, recommending Blazers over the Heat. I think the Blazers are the side here.
Yeah. Shout out to our community chat. If you are a Better Day Insider or Premium member, and you have not joined our community chat, make sure you do so you can interact with fellow Better Day Insider and Premium members, share your bets with each other. We love the communication. We love the community aspect of it. There's a lot more to becoming a Better Day Insider or Premium member than just getting picks and access to some of the cool stuff that we have on the website. Like, building this community is what I'm really, really proud of. And I love it when the community wins. So good shout out there. I think that was it, who was that, Judd, who wanted to fade the Blazers? Or Judd, who wanted to bet the Blazers? Yeah. So good job there, Judd. Also, I got to give a shout out as we are about to talk UFC with AJ Hoffman. Remember yesterday I teased out how a couple of years ago we gave out that V parlay with all the fighters ending in V. And I got an email from one of our followers, Ethan, who tweeted me or who emailed me his bet slip from him actually placing that parlay. It was in the fall of 2023, October 2023. It was plus 2152. A 7-leg UFC parlay. It was the V parlay. Wins by Khamzat Chimaev, Ikram Aliskerov, Shasa Magomedov, Naimov, Nurmagomedov, Makachev, and Mokhiev. I butchered half of those names, but you know what? Ethan cashed that ticket, as I'm sure some other people cashed that ticket that we talked about on our old show. So that was a fun one. October of 2023, the V parlay definitely came in. We'll get AJ Hoffman's best bets here coming up right now for UFC 324.
Every Friday from 6 to 7:30, it's NBA Happy Hour on FanDuel. your pregame for the weekend. We're talking limited time specials you won't want to miss. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all dropping in the app during happy hour. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app to see the week's special. Then, make your move before the shot clock expires at 7:30 Eastern. It's the perfect way to start your weekend. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, and Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
UFC 324 is tomorrow night, and the exciting thing for all of us is that we no longer have to pay for pay-per-view. AJ Hoffman joins us here on Better Day as we break down UFC 324, the first event, AJ, of the Paramount Plus era. How excited are you to watch this fight and just be able to watch all of these fights without having to go through the jump through the hoops of pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's going to save me a boatload of money. I feel like it's almost like I'm getting a second job or something. My wife is very excited about this.
Who are we kidding? You know you were on those illegal streams. Come on.
Oh, well, yeah. But the $80 a month that I'm saving, it really is like kind of like getting rid of a bill. You know what I mean? So that is a really nice thing. And it's been a good wait since the last UFC card was before Christmas. So they've built anticipation and they've got a pretty good card. They lost a title fight, which is a bummer. Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes was a big fight. They lose that with Kayla Harrison's injury, but still a pretty solid top to bottom card. And for free dollars, it's hard to beat this, man. It's a good start to the new era of the UFC.
Well, let's talk about the fights that are on this main card, and we'll get some of your best bets here on the pod. The first fight that's on the main card is or it's not the first fight of the night. I think it's actually, is it the last fight of the main card? Anyway, it's the one that I'm looking forward to the most. Derek Lewis against Valdo Cortez Acosta. I mean, Derek Lewis is going off right now up on FanDuel as a plus 240 underdog. I know he's your boy, AJ, but he's a dog for a reason. But we know with Derek Lewis, he's in every fight because he's one punch away from knocking out his opponent and taking his pants off.
This is such a crazy line to me. First of all, I like the under on the fight. I think under 1.5 rounds is great value. Either Derek knocks him out or Derek goes after him. I mean, Derek he's 40 years old now. Derek understands his gas tank is not what it used to be, and even at its peak, his gas tank was not elite. So I expect an aggressive version of Derek. And the thing about Acosta is he is a jab merchant. He's not like a big bomb thrower. He waits till he can try to hurt you with that jab. He wants to volume strike with you. And Derek, he's going to throw bombs, and he's going to make Waldo uncomfortable. And either Waldo's going to have to do something dumb, or Waldo's going to catch Derek doing something dumb. I think one of these guys goes to sleep. But I played a prop on this one. You mentioned the price at FanDuel being plus 240 on Derek. Look around for the knockout price because
plus 360. Derek Lewis by KO TKO plus 360.
The probability of winning this fight by decision or submission, I've got at less than 10%. So to go from plus 240 to plus 360, I mean, you're getting a 33% jump on this thing. That just feels like way too good of a value to pass up versus the straight up win. So I'm going to play the under, but I am going to have a taste of Derek Lewis by knockout in this one as well.
Well, here's what I also wouldn't mind sprinkling on while we're talking about sprinkles. So up on FanDuel, they have method and round combo. Derek Lewis by knockout or TKO in round 1 is plus 700. Okay, Waldo by TKO or KO in round 1 is plus 300. Waldo by KO TKO in round 2 is plus 500. Derek Lewis by KO TKO in round 2 is plus 1,300. I feel like splitting up a unit between all 4 of those bets, one of them's going to hit.
Yeah, I mean, again, just because I think the value is really on Derek.
Sure.
That's the way that I lean to doing it. If you want to split between those what'd you say, 7-1 and 13-1?
Yeah.
But when I guess when you're around that plus 360, you're kind of in that range anyway. But yeah, I have a hard time picturing if Derek wins, which again, I think that the odds are off that he wins. I'm not saying that he's going to win more than 50% of the time here. I think he's an underdog for a reason, but I just think that they're not giving enough respect to what Derek can do. Derek, I mean, he's still the greatest knockout artist in the history of time. And we're talking about a guy in Waldo Acosta who's had a couple wins over, kind of fading guys recently. And now he's this huge favorite all of a sudden. I've seen this story before. The story on Derek Lewis's demise has been written and crumpled up and thrown out multiple times. Derek Lewis has lost some fights. The Sergey Spivak fight, where he got basically taken down and choked immediately. And there are guys, Jailton Almeida, who's a jiu-jitsu master, those are the guys who are going to beat Derek. And there's been guys like Sergey Pavlovich and Tai Tuivasa who he got into a firefight with and he just lost. Those are going to happen. But I think you can go back to Tyson Teixeira, the guy he just fought, who he knocked out in 35 seconds. Rodrigo Nascimento, who was a rising star in the division, he was a favorite over Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis knocked him out. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, another one that he got a win over with a first round knockout, right around 30 seconds. He still has that, and with heavyweights, when you get to 40 years old, if you're a flyweight, you don't have a career at 40 years old. Heavyweights still carry that power into their later years. That's the last thing that's ever going to go away for Derek Lewis. And I just think that this is almost an offensive price to go up against a guy who is just nowhere near as experienced as Derek. And guys that he's fought, the best guys that he's fought, like Sergey Pavlovich, who beat him, and Ryan Despan, who's a glorified 205er, and then the last two, Shamil Gaziev and Ante Dalia, who are lower end heavyweights. Sure, he knocked him out. Sure, it looked great, but I don't think he's had a lot of time in cage with guys at this level. I think this is there's real value on Derek Lewis's line here.
Okay, let's move on to the next fight. Sean O'Malley, a minus 220 favorite here over Song Yadong. Do you agree with the price? What do you like in this fight?
Yeah, I wanted to find a way to play Song Yadong here because I do worry that there is a little bit of almost a mental break factor with O'Malley. Remember, I mean, when Sean O'Malley lost his first fight in the UFC where he injured his leg and against Chito Vera, and he would say, "I've never lost." He just refused to admit that he lost that fight, even though he hurt himself and he lost. And that was it was ingrained in him that he couldn't be beat. And then he lost to Merab the first time, and you could see the swagger was a little bit gone, and he was suddenly more businesslike, and he was taking this so seriously. I'm training harder than I've ever trained in my life. And then he got in there last June against Merab again, and not only did he lose, he was dominated in a way that didn't even happen in the first fight. It got way worse for him the second time around. That's the last we saw of Sean O'Malley. And there is a world where guys like Sean O'Malley, whose ego just is driven by, what he's made himself out to be and what the public has made him out to be, when those guys lose, especially in embarrassing fashion, and the second loss was an embarrassing fashion, it can change who they are. It can change their mental makeup. I worry a little bit about that for him, but on paper, he is a bad matchup for Song Yadong. Song Yadong, who is coming off a win against Henry Cejudo, which is a huge feather in your cap for anybody last February, but before that, he was pretty well dominated by Piotr Jan, who's the current champion. Before, we've seen him get stopped by Corey Sandhagen. That's kind of what he's done when he's gone up against higher level competition. So, and just at this kind of striker that Song is, I think that he's gonna feel comfortable getting into a fist fight with Sean O'Malley. That's a bad idea. If Song Yadong does the smart thing and wrestles, I see a real path for him. He's a strong guy. He should be able to hold Sean O'Malley down. I just don't know that that's like his first instinct to do that. Thus, I think Sean's a pretty bad matchup for him. I ended up passing the fight just because I think there's too many questions about Sean's headspace. But I couldn't get there with Song, even though I went into the film study hoping that I would be able to. Just nothing for me on it.
Let's get into the main event, AJ. Justin Gaethje takes on Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett, minus 245 up on FanDuel right now. Justin Gaethje, did he show enough in that fight last year, the win off against Fiziev, however you pronounce it? Fiziev. Did he show enough in that fight to give you confidence that he still has it, that he is a guy at 37, 38 years old that is going to be able to compete here with Paddy? Because, I guess the question is, who is Justin Gaethje now? Is he the guy that got knocked out by Holloway? Is he the guy that beat Fiziev for a second time? Is he a guy who was on the tail end of his career and people thought his career was done and over and he's going to retire and sit off into the sunset and do media? Or is he going to win this interim belt and go on to maybe fight a couple more fights?
First of all, I think there's also the question of who is Paddy Pimblett.
Well, this is a major step up. Yeah.
No doubt. This is by far the toughest fight that he's had. Bobby Green and Michael Chandler were clear top 15 level type guys. But Justin Gaethje, this is Pimblett's first foray into the elite of the division. And the guys who have beat Gaethje, Max Holloway you mentioned, which was, it's one of the greatest fights of all time, obviously, and one of the greatest finishes of all time. But it's not like he was getting washed by Max Holloway. That was a very competitive fight. He lost to Charles Oliveira. He got subbed by Charles Oliveira in the first round in a crazy first round in Charles Oliveira, the greatest submission artist ever. He lost to Khabib, who is
everybody
Khabib,
loses to.
and he lost to Dustin Poirier, which is a fight that he's avenged since. The guys that he's beaten, he's beat Fiziev twice. He beat Dustin Poirier. He beat Michael Chandler and Tony Ferguson. Like he's there, man. He's got the goods. The question is, he just hasn't been able to take that leap over the top tier of the division. I don't know that Paddy's that. I generally think he's not. I think this is a good buy low spot on Justin Gaethje. I think he's there's value on him as an underdog, but my favorite play on this is just going to be the under. Because this is such a big step up for Paddy, I think that he understands this is not a time to play with my food, and there's a real path for him. He is a much better grappler than Justin Gaethje. If he can get this fight to the ground, Paddy Pimblett, when he came to the UFC, was kind of known as this just venomous grappler who could get you, and he's not a great wrestler, but when he gets you to the ground, it's just real trouble. He finds a way to get on your back and he finishes fights. Justin Gaethje is not a great grappler. Justin Gaethje, he's a college wrestler who doesn't wrestle. I don't know that Justin Gaethje's ever attempted a takedown in the history of his
college was
his
a
UFC
long time
career.
ago, AJ.
Long ago. He doesn't wrestle at all, and he wants to stand and bang. The good news for him is Paddy has shown a very willingness to stand and bang with guys, even when it doesn't make sense for him to do it. It didn't make sense for him to do that against Bobby Green and Michael Chandler. And in both fights, he got stunned and was able to fight through it and go ahead and get the win. And kudos to him for doing that. I didn't think he had that in him. But again, this is a different level guy he's going up against. This is a guy who does have one-punch knockout power in Justin Gaethje, who can end this fight early. And so if the way I'm looking at it is, if Paddy fights a dumb fight and bangs with Justin Gaethje, I don't see how he lasts 2.5 rounds or over 2.5 rounds. And if he fights a smart fight and takes Justin Gaethje down, I don't think Justin Gaethje can last 2.5 minutes on the ground with him. So Justin Gaethje, 17 fights at the UFC, 17 fight bonuses. He doesn't do anything but have exciting fights. And I think in this fight, I think the excitement means it ain't going to go to decision. And it's not going to be a last-second walk-off KO like Max Holloway. These guys are going to throw down early, and I think someone's getting put out in the first round or two.
So you have the 2.5 under -110 up on FanDuel. Yeah, will the fight go the distance up on FanDuel? The no is -350. So,
well, and also think about that. Think about the disparate under 2.5 -110. You're talking about you have to pay -350 to get that 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't see this thing going the distance.
Yeah. Well, Patty by decision is the favorite outcome. It's +135. Then Gaethje by KO TKO is +390. Patty by KO TKO is +490. And then
what's Patty by submission, Scott?
Patty by submission is the favorite, +135.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Patty by decision.
No.
So
by submission is the favorite. Yep.
I think it's one of those first two. It's either Patty by decision or Gaethje by TKO.
You mean Patty by submission or Gaethje by TKO?
That's the only ways I can see this fight finishing.
Okay. All right. And we'll go with the under 2.5 as a best bet for the main event. Justin Gaethje and Patty the Batty Pimblett. AJ, appreciate the time, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And we were going to actually do a bonus episode coming up. I think maybe later on today we'll release it. Maybe we'll release it tomorrow on Saturday. But it's going to be for all of the props for Championship Sunday. So Mackenzie and I did our, Championship Sunday, a little bit extended preview. You already know what we're on for these two games, but we are going to do the props in a separate pod coming up. We'll release it either later on today or tomorrow for you guys. As always, make sure you head to betterday.com. Take advantage of all the tools and the resources there available for you. For Mackenzie Rivers, AJ Hoffman, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.